Okay, so I am gonna go through our bracelet kit. It's a I Love You bracelet, and when you are finished, it will look like this. So I'm just gonna show you what the kit comes with. All right, so it's gonna look like this. You're gonna have a card with instructions. So the first thing, good idea is to just lay everything out so you see what you have. So what you're gonna have is gold beads, seed beads, and then this is a little slider bead, and that is going to be your closure. And then you're also going to have the silk thread that has an attached needle and a little I love you card in case you want to gift your bracelet to a friend. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is open your bead cord. And this is actually important that you do it this way. This is one of the things that you absolutely have to do this way. Is you have to unwind the whole thing. So it comes on a cord like this. That is your needle right there. And you have to kind of get it out from here, pull it, pull it, pull it off the card, and then unwind the whole thing, because if you cut it anywhere before the end, then you lose your needle. So you'll see what I mean in just a second, but you need to unwind the whole dang thing, just like this. Boom, off the card. Now you have this nice long piece of thread, and this is your needle. And you want to stretch this out with your fingers, just kind of straighten it out like that. So you have a nice straightish needle. Okay, now the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put this bead on. And one of the things that I suggest with these beads is put a little piece of cloth. I have a pad here, but a piece of cloth is good for little beads like this, so that if you put them on a flat surface, they don't go flying all over the place. Or just rolling or whatever, they'll stay put. So the first thing we're gonna do is thread this bead onto your string and go all the way to the end, almost. Okay. And you're going to want to end about 3 to 4 inches from the end of the cord. Okay. Now you're going to need a ruler for this next part. So okay, we're going to measure from the very end of your string about 6 inches. That's here on this side of this bead. So if you're worried about the bead falling off, you might want to tape the end or something like that. But you're actually knotting above this bead, between this bead and where your needle is. So you want to go ahead and make a knot. Okay. I'm pulling the thread all the way back through. Now once you kind of get it like a loop like this, lay it back out. This does not have to be exact, because obviously you can leave a little extra, because you can always cut that down. You can always cut it down. So if you make it less than 6 inches, that's not good. It can be more, but 6 inches is pretty good. And then pull your knot tight like that. And then if you want to, put a little piece of tape at this end so that this doesn't slide off. Now, once we have that, we can actually start to do beads. So This is the next thing. This is where you might want to put your beads onto some fabric, like so. That's why you kind of want something like this, because when you dump them out, you know. The other option is you could put them in a little bowl or something like that. So, so at this point we start putting beads on. And another little tip is whatever surface you're using to lay all your stuff out, and like I said, I recommend a little fabric or something so that they don't move around. A contrasting color to your beads is really helpful. And the reason for that is that you can then see the holes in your beads, and it'll help you to kind of pick them up with your needle. So you can kind of grab them and slide them on the needle like that. And just, you know, pick them up with the end, slide it on. This is much easier than picking up the beads with your fingers. Slide them on. Just get it in there and slide it on. Do a whole bunch of those. And you know, right now you have a bunch here. You can just keep going because you're gonna do like 1.5 inches or so before you switch to the gold bead. So just do a whole bunch before you slide them down to the end of that knot, just like that. There you go. All right, so we have a few here. And you have a bunch on here. Now you're going to slide them all the way to the end of your cord. They're under my finger right here. To the end of your cord. And there's your knot. Now you've got about, not quite 1/2 inch of beads. So you can see right there. You're gonna, before you do anything but colored beads, you're gonna do 1.75 inches. So a little more than 3 times as many. Now I'm gonna cut and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna put that many on and then I'm gonna show you the next step. Okay, so we've strung the first section of colored seed beads and we've got it to just about 1 3/4 exactly. Then the next thing we're gonna need are the gold nugget beads. So I'm gonna dump those out right there, and you're gonna need to find your needle again. And this is a 1-4-3 bracelet, so we do 1, and then that's separated by some seed beads, and then 4 separated by some seed beads, and then 3 separated by some seed beads. And that gives you your 1-4-3, I love you. Okay, so we're just gonna string this one on, just like we did. Oops, got a little knot there, so be careful. That is the one downside of having to have such a sort of long piece and having to work with a long piece. You just have to be careful about knotting. So, you know, have a nice open surface to work in so that, you know, your string doesn't get all knotted up when you're stringing beads on. All right, so you've got your first section of beads and your first knot, and then you're going to go for your second section of beads, which is about 1/2 inch of beads approximately. So we'll do that, and we'll do the next section of gold beads. This is just to show you, we put all of our gold beads on, and you can kind of see the way the spacing works in between them. So it's about, not quite 1/2 inch. I mean, you can go to 1/2 inch, whatever you think looks good. That's what I do, usually just under 1/2 inch. And it's 1 and 4 and then 3, and then from here to the end is just going to be more black beads, and then we're going to finish it up. So we are ready to finish this. Real quickly before that, so when you want to clean up these little beads, or you know, if they've kind of gone flying a little bit, picking them up like this is not real easy, but really they're so small you can just, you know, press them into your finger and do something like that. That's just a little tip. All right, so now we're going to move on to the last little bit, which is putting your knot on this end and finishing it up. So we're just going to make a knot. I'm just going to kind of show you the best way to do that. So we're going to make our knot. Make sure all your beads are pulled tightly so there aren't like gaps in here. Kind of hold onto this with your finger, and then we're gonna slide this knot down to your finger, just like that, and pull it so it's nice and close. There you go. Knot, knot. So this is your bracelet. Now, this is when this little guy comes in. So we've got this. We're going to find the end of our string again. This is, this is why we need to hang on to this, because we want this to go back through here. It won't go through here without the needle. All right, so I'm going to run this through. Get it through there. There we go. Give it a pull, and there's a nice amount of tension there. That is what's going to hold it on your wrist. So just pull, pull, pull until you get these kind of close to the same length. Oops. Let's pull that other side. Oh, I don't know why it's pulling that one. Let's pull that one. Okay. There we go. I'll show you a finished one just to give you an idea of like about how much slack you need. Let's get out the ruler here. For most people, you can see this finished one. 6 inches if you pull the whole thing from one end to the other. Now these have knots in the end. We're going to do that in just a second, but about 6 inches. So give yourself a little extra. Maybe pull it to like 7. Cut these ends. Thing you're going to do is make your knots, and that kind of is determined by how long you want this to be. So carefully, you can try it on. That's how much slack you're going to have left. So like on me, I could make these knots a whole inch or so up and then cut off the end. I'll just real quickly do that. Do one. Two. And there you go. There's your 143 bracelet. Congratulations, you made a thing.